I never imagined that the happiest day on my calendar would become the day my marriage died. My name is Emma, I was 36, and June 12th was supposed to celebrate both my 8th wedding anniversary and my husband Ryan's birthday. I left work early, drove across town to buy his favorite wine, picked up premium beef, decorated our balcony with lights, and even ordered a custom cake with both of our names on it. By evening, everything was perfect except for one thing. Ryan never came home. Hours passed, my messages were ignored, and late that night I received a cold email saying he had a work emergency and would make it up later. There was no apology, no happy anniversary, and no sign that he even remembered what the day meant. I quietly packed away the untouched dinner, removed the decorations, and went to bed wearing the dress I had hoped he would admire. The next morning, my uneasiness turned into fear when I called his office and learned he had resigned 3 days earlier without telling me. I rushed home only to find him calmly packing his belongings into a suitcase. Without emotion, he told me he had accepted a new executive position in New Mexico and had already rented another apartment. Then he handed me divorce papers. Ryan claimed I had failed as a wife because I worked too much, did not keep the house perfect, and no longer made him feel important. I reminded him that I worked full-time, paid half our bills, cooked whenever I could, and spent years trying to make him happy while he ignored every effort. None of it mattered. He simply walked out the door, leaving behind 8 years of marriage without a single look back. A few days later, the apartment management called to say Ryan had already canceled our lease and expected me to move out by the end of the month. That was the moment I finally stopped waiting for explanations. Almost everything in the apartment had been purchased with my money anyway. The divorce papers sat on my table for several days until I realized I was mourning someone who had already abandoned me long before he physically left. I signed the documents and decided my future deserved more attention than my past. About that time, I attended my high school reunion alone. I almost stayed home, embarrassed by my failed marriage, but I forced myself to go. There I met Daniel, an old classmate who had also survived a painful divorce. Instead of offering pity, he treated me like a normal person. We spent the evening talking about life, mistakes, and fresh starts. For the first time in years, I laughed without pretending everything was fine. A week after the divorce became official, Ryan emailed me a copy of his new marriage certificate. He proudly called to brag that he had married a wealthy woman named Victoria, whose family owned a successful real estate company. Thanks to her connections, he now had a luxurious home, a prestigious executive title, and a baby on the way. He wanted me to feel jealous and regret losing him. Instead, I calmly wished him well. Curiosity led me to search for Victoria online, and I realized she had actually attended high school with me years earlier. Back then, she looked completely different before undergoing multiple cosmetic surgeries. An old friend later confirmed that she had spent years reinventing herself and carefully pursuing wealthy, influential people. Months passed before Ryan contacted me again, but this time, the confidence in his voice was gone. His daughter had been born, and although DNA testing proved she was his child, the baby strongly resembled the natural appearances both parents had worked so hard to erase through cosmetic procedures. Ryan could not understand why his daughter looked nothing like the polished images he and Victoria presented to the world. I gently reminded him that appearance can be changed, but genetics cannot. The truth always finds its way back. What saddened me most was learning that Victoria struggled to even hold the baby because she could not accept that reality. I ended the conversation by telling Ryan that the only person deserving compassion was their innocent daughter, then blocked his number forever. Nearly a year later, my life looked completely different. I moved into a smaller apartment closer to work, reduced my hours, started taking weekend art classes, and slowly rebuilt friendships I had neglected. Daniel became a steady companion, not because either of us needed saving, but because we both valued honesty, peace, and kindness after years of disappointment. Then I learned through an old friend that Ryan had cheated on Victoria as well, and their marriage was falling apart. Their young daughter had even become the target of cruel teasing because of her parents' obsession with appearance. Hearing that brought me no satisfaction, only sympathy for a child caught in the consequences of choices she never made. Looking back, I no longer see my divorce as the greatest loss of my life. It became the moment I finally stopped chasing someone who never appreciated me and started building a life that truly belonged to me. Ryan chose status, beauty, and illusion over loyalty and love. I chose peace, self-respect, and authenticity. Time revealed which choice was worth making. Some people spend their lives hiding who they really are, believing money or appearance can rewrite the past. But the truth always waits patiently. In the end, the greatest victory was never proving Ryan wrong. It was discovering that my happiness never depended on him at all, which you